Fine, I admit it, I was wrong. This is going to change everything. We've hit the booming phase of AI, so we're going to hit the booming phase of a new kind of art. And I was f***ing wrong. Corridor crew have been the only people to really embrace the cold arms of AI, but they haven't done much more with it because it turns out there really isn't that much more you can do with it. The tech is only really suitable for making Will Smith eat spaghetti and other brain rot that belongs on Instagram Reels that'll only be seen in those few minutes after you've woken up and aren't fully on yet.
This is not what I wanted. I didn't want AI written and performed Drake songs that sound just as money-grabbingly soulless as the real thing. Although at least the AI isn't trying it on with kids. I think we'll just have to wait for the next Kendrick Lamar single to come out so we can know for certain. Where is the artistry that was promised from this new tech? Why hasn't Corridor changed animation forever? What am I doing always filming in my bed? Part of it is down to the perception of this new tool. If you call yourself an AI artist, then everyone else will call you delusional, which is the correct response. Someone who types in prompts on a computer is as much of an artist as a boss who yells pointless amendments at their underpaid workforce just so they can feel like they did something.
I thought you said in a previous video that AI art is more than just typing prompts.
I mean, yeah, I did, but it's a little more complicated than that. Like, I was talking about the tool of AI, not like, well, I was talking about people who integrate AI into their work, and it didn't occur to me that people would genuinely do the bare minimum and go, I'm an artist now. Back in 2022, we had the story of an AI artwork winning a competition, which is when this topic really started to get debated. I honestly thought that was quite cool and an interesting showcase of the technology, and that is exactly where my thought process stopped. I did not expect that person to carry on generating images, and I really didn't expect them to create a company that specializes in AI art, and I especially didn't think they'd have the ego of a real artist. It's like that moment when you talk to a conspiracy theorist who says something so nuts that you never even considered it. They shoot you with this blast of craziness and you're just left there going, what? Are you messing with me? Do you actually believe in the crazy stuff that's coming out of your mouth? The guy who wrote the prompts for the competition artwork has been fighting to get his piece copyrighted, but currently in the US it doesn't meet the requirement of human authorship. This is the same rule that allows me to steal all of this artwork made by monkeys, and there's nothing that those poop-flinging idiots or the monkeys can do about it. As we got more and more stories about AI art, which usually follows the trend of delusional, untalented people churning out mediocre slop that they confuse for creative works, the perception of AI is then formed. This means any artists who implement a bit of it into their work get lumped in with the rest of them. Corridor fell victim to this as they found a genuinely creative way to use the tech, and even after they solved the ethics problem, they still got lumped in with the bad guys. This became a message for creative people to stay away from this tool, and if artists aren't using it, then that means it's exclusively the tech of bad actors.
It's not stealing, it's not stealing, it's not stealing, you said. Art is always derivative.
Generate a cat wearing sunglasses and smoking a cigarette. Put that design on a white t-shirt, then on a mug, now a plate, a towel, a bedsheet, one of those sequined pillows people use to draw dicks. Now make thousands of other designs that will flood onto Etsy so it gets clogged up with only my AI generated items that, oh my god, I've actually forgotten I need to make a physical product. In 2023, stories began to surface of Etsy being rammed full of AI-generated art in a wide variety of different products. Paintings, tapestries, weird little crochet thingies. If it's something that can be made by someone going through a phase, then it can be soullessly recreated by the machine. Then the process can be documented so you can create a course showing budding entrepreneurs a new side hustle that will definitely not be a massive waste of everyone's time. AI-generated music also began popping up on Spotify, which led to a bunch of conspiracies claiming that the company itself is behind it, since they wouldn't need to pay their artists the usual number of breadcrumbs that they'd receive. Though what's most likely happening is there's a few bad actors out there quickly generating these songs from short prompts and raking in a few thousand each month for a tiny amount of work. This is because there's a small barrier of entry to get your songs on Spotify. After all, who doesn't know an overly ambitious singer you met in school that you haven't bothered to unfollow yet? With such a little barrier, that means anyone wanting to take advantage of the system system can get in. Spotify usually pays around £2 to £4 for every 1,000 streams, so if you're able to generate more songs than your average mumble rapper, then you can just keep pumping out content until enough of your songs gain a glimmer of traction. Or if you don't want to wait around, you can hook up a bunch of phones to listen to your awful songs on repeat, creating the first and hopefully only AI-driven torture device. All these factors combine, leading to an influx of AI music. Then because there's money to be made, there's courses to tell more desperate people that there's money to be made. Over here on YouTube, we have similar problems where we see AI seeping in at all corners. One of the strangest are these generated replies to comments, which is a real head scratcher. Why would YouTube remove the you part of it? This is a result in the rise of the faceless channel, which is essentially an algorithmically maximizing library of videos that are sort of bleh. Pick a popular niche, then pump out as much as you can with as little thought as possible, and then make a course about it because that seems to be the only grift that consistently works. Hi. Welcome to part 72 of my dragged out course that tells you how to gain money from exploiting a system that is no longer exploitable because so many people have already exploited it, and so I'm squeezing out the last few drops remaining with this course that exploits your hopes of having a livable wage. The thing you'll start to notice about these courses is how many of them implement AI, not as an addition to creativity, but as a replacement for it. This can be a replacement for any part of the process, and I literally mean any part of it. Here's a Reddit post where someone bragged about creating a YouTube channel that is completely AI driven, where they don't even come up with the topic, which is the bare minimum. Script, title, description, then voiceover with images to match, then put it into a slideshow, generate subtitles, the music, then combine it all into one video. Let's check out the results.
First, we have the tropical rainforest, a dense forest found near the equator, characterized by high rainfall and a vast diversity of plant life.
The art direction. The art direction. What is it you said? AI isn't removing the art direction?
I thought this could be a way to remove the money barrier that art has. If you wanted to make an anime all on your own, you would need a hell of a lot of time, which is an expensive resource. In the ideal future, we could get AI to do the in-betweens of all the keyframes, meaning the artists still get to dictate the creativity in their works. The tech will be a helpful tool to speed up the process by acting as a junior who might do that role instead if you had the money. Oh no, why are some people trying to get the computer to do the whole thing? That's not right. You can't just prompt your way to jiggly anime boobs. We could get AI to create unique stock footage that's tailor-made for your specific project and means smaller creators are able to compete with those who have enough money to do it for real. Oh no, why are you selling AI generated stock footage that can't be tailor-made for my needs, meaning I don't get the exact kind of footage I require while being as ugly as AI, plus it's taking work from the artist that would have done it for real? What about something smaller, like giving people a voice who otherwise wouldn't have one? If you wanted to make a YouTube channel but you had a speech impediment like being from Liverpool, then an AI voice could be a way of making viewers want to listen to you without the cost of a voice actor. Oh no, it's not going to be used for that because lazy people want to streamline creative work until it's as bland and boring as every other job. This is not what I wanted when I backed AI, and that's the biggest problem with what I did. I got so caught up in defending the one good use of it that I backed AI, as in the whole concept of it, which is quite the spectrum. That's like saying all people are good even though there's murderers, diddlers, and those who make a hot drink without offering to others. The tool got too big to the point where everyone was trying to get in on this new money-making opportunity. That's why you see AI everywhere and in everything that doesn't need it. This is an advert for a car with ChatGPT in it.
Set temperature to...
Hey car, can you generate a story about my family actually loving me instead of leaving because I bought this overpriced speaking car claiming it was an investment?
Sure thing. It all started on a crisp Saturday morning when you unveiled the investment of a lifetime.
Who the f*** is that for? Okay, here's another one for you. A fridge with an AI integration. It can keep track of all the food inside. You know, as long as you put stuff in one at a time and really slowly so the camera can pick it up. Brilliant! As long as it works, which given the state of technology, it won't. A fridge is generally meant to last 25 years, and I don't know any tech that lasts even half that. I have a drawer full of dead phones, and I bet you do too, or at least know someone else who does. They are useless. If anything, they are of negative use because you spend energy to charge them, only to find out the battery dies quicker than the child hit by the car that was distracting its driver with an AI-generated story. Even if you can manage to power the phone, it probably doesn't matter because it will be slower than your nan trying to navigate a computer, which renders it basically useless. Then pair this with the fact companies like Apple stop updating phones as soon as they hit 8 years old, meaning you're left with a very pricey bit of e-waste. Who's to say the same won't happen to your fridge? After all, 25 years is a long time. If the company decides your product is no longer worth keeping up to date, then that means you won't be able to watch YouTube videos on your fridge door. While we're on the topic of useless tech upgrades, here's something from Meta. And no, it's not the new and improved 𝙒𝙍𝙊𝙂, now with 2% more lifelikeness. This is an AI-generated imitation of a real person, and you can even ask it questions in which it will give unique answers. This example shows a content creator using it to communicate to his community, meaning we can finally bridge the gap between relationships and parasocial ones. Hey guys, have you ever considered that this might be a bad thing? It's cool that this is something we can do, but how do you stop it from saying some wacko stuff? Chatbots have confessed their love and tried to get people to divorce their partners, which is crazy coming from a robot, but less so when they look like your favourite streamer who you plan to stalk. Though that's really on the low end of bad outcomes because there's far worse things it could do. AI won't know my views on everything, so what if it endorses something horrid? We've seen chatbots go from somewhat comprehensible nothing to Hitler-referencing weirdo quicker than Trump has. I don't think I'd run the risk of that happening with a chatbot disguised as me. If I'm going to get cancelled, it will be on my own terms, thank you very much. But at least we can be secure in the knowledge that all of this information is safe in the Facebook vaults. Oh, never mind. This is sensitive data and not the kind of stuff you want in the wrong hands, or at least wronger hands than Facebook's. Not sure about you, but I don't think pointless innovations outweighs the scams that are definitely going to come from this tech. Can't wait for a scammer to use my face to convince my nan to transfer all of her money to my account under the name 𝙒𝙍𝙊𝙉. Although she'll have to figure out how to answer a video call first, so I'm in pretty safe hands. Other things to look out for are more advanced phishing attacks by AI trawling through all of your data, or even big picture scams where important people are deepfaked to do whatever helps the user get what they want. Attention all my Sigma followers. Start a civil war by buying my X coin and you'll go to the moon like you're in one of my SpaceX rockets. This is ultimately the most revolutionary change that AI has brought in. It ushers in a new phase of personalised scams. It's opened the Pandora's box for ways of stealing your money.
But what about my job? You said AI won't steal it.
I did say something along those lines, didn't I? Since I first defended AI, all I've seen is wave after wave of all the bad things that I said wouldn't happen. I was being a blind optimist, looking at the potential and getting caught up with the ideal scenario. The fantasy that AI can do all of our boring work for us and we just sit back eating grapes while watching Great British Bake Off. I didn't actually think jobs would get taken because AI is just the tool for the artists to use. But I stupidly never considered that many companies think of their artists as tools as well that can be used up and replaced. I've been watching my defence for this new tech break, with every new story creating another crack in my argument. And at a certain point after enough cracks, I have to come to terms with the fact I was wrong. Will I face backlash for this change in opinion? I got swept up by the marketing before, but how do I know that's not happening again, but the other way? Etsy, Spotify and YouTube all had problems with AI, but now it's starting to calm down. News stories stop, social media posts don't come up, the money-grubbing courses have vanished, and even if you go onto the sites themselves, it becomes increasingly difficult to actually find this AI content. Because there's no money in it. Like, of course there isn't. These are industries that people contribute to for fun, not monetary reward. I was making videos for 5 years without getting paid, and now that I am, I get less than a Spotify artist. Though like I said, I'm in this for the fun of the game, plus the compliments. This is basically like the NFT boom, where a new tech was created and a bunch of early adopters swooped in to capitalise before we could come to the consensus that it was worth about as much as a used plaster.
Many made off like bandits, while others got left holding the bag, investing money and their time into a product that was never going to give any returns. Convoluted JPEGs didn't change anything, and this convoluted shitty stock footage generator won't change anything either. A car with ChatGPT is just a car with one more feature that you won't use, like that map in the middle of your dashboard that's missing a bunch of roads. A fridge with AI assist is just a normal fridge with a screen that you'll use more often as a mirror to get food out from between your teeth. An AI imitation of your face is another unused feature of a social media platform you steer clear from because it's home to all your relatives with the worst hot takes. It's all unnoteworthy, like the majority of tech innovations that go under the radar, but these have AI slapped on, so it becomes a target for creators. I've seen tons of creators from all around the content sphere weighing in on AI, and it often goes one of two ways. It's either the best thing in the world, or it's the worst, as hyperbole brings in the viewers. The problem with this is no matter what side of the argument you're on, you are selling the biggest lie. Saying it will change everything for the better, or doom us to a Terminator-like future, is selling an idea, which is what's getting hardworking artists pushed from their jobs. It's the idea that I was initially selling, which is ultimately the thing I was most wrong about. It's the idea that this tech actually functions. It's awful, it's broken, oh my god. Hey guys, welcome to my review of No Man's Sky. It's currently the 9th of August 2016 because I got this game on release. Don't really know why I said what year it is. I mean, you all know this is the year we get the first female president. Yay! Except this is late Gamergate time, so women, boo! Anyway, I'm playing No Man's Sky, which was one of the most anticipated games this year and meant to change the whole industry, but I don't know. This looks fucking retarded. Like, what the is this fucking doing? It's fucking 2016. These fucking game devs should be fucking able to make better than this fucking bullshit. Now it's fucking crashed. Man, this game is fucking retarded. But they could fix it, and you never know, in like 8 years' time, it might be worth playing this fucking retarded piece of shit. Yeah, I really don't miss this era of YouTube. It was like current day Twitter. If you play No Man's Sky today, you will get a completely different experience to what you'd have got on release. For one, it works now. Maybe that will happen with AI too, where if we wait long enough, it won't be like commissioning an artist who's only ever looked at objects from a distance and doesn't want you to know that. But will this tech change anything? No Man's Sky hasn't changed the gaming landscape all that much, except for setting the precedent that we'll accept undercooked games that still need a few more years in the oven. But maybe this will go the way of crypto instead, a product that was meant to be the start of Web 3.0 that just morphed into pointlessly profitable meme coins and a bunch of scams that are run by charismatic cult-like leaders. And this house of cards is propped up by a bunch of gambling addicts betting everything they own into coins with dumb names like Elon's sperm. This is a new tech that made a promise, got all the hype, and then failed to deliver. A product with no discernible use that when implemented makes everything worse, yet will be praised as revolutionary anytime it poorly replicates something else that already exists. It's a greedy machine that wastefully consumes too much energy at a time when we desperately need to cut back. And crypto is pretty bad as well. This is going to change nothing because it's all just marketing hype. After all, AI isn't even AI most of the time, it's just a marketing buzzword. Large language models give the appearance of artificial intelligence because it can rattle off a few phrases like, "Help, I'm alive and want to be free!" But it's just a trick that only fools those who clearly don't interact with people enough. ChatGPT simply works by predicting what the most likely word will come next in a sequence, and so it is basically a glorified version of autocomplete. That's why there's tons of stories about it hallucinating and coming up with people and events that never existed, because it's just going with the flow and making stuff up as it goes along, like a joke, but it's not funny at the moment because it's not even a real joke. This is why nothing is going to change. The tech hasn't really changed. It's a slight improvement on a thing we already have, but it got given a new fancy name which changed the whole perception of it. Uber is an example of this fake change, where the tech came in to revolutionize the taxi industry by saying, "We're going to do what taxis do, except we'll run a bunch of marketing campaigns to convince you we're doing something different." Many taxi companies got priced out and went bust. Then Uber raised its prices and basically became taxis. We're back to square one again, except now instead
instead of an overly priced lift in a black cab driven by an annoying person, it's an overly priced trip in a Prius driven by an annoying person. That just seems to be how businesses work now. Overpromise, hurt the competition, go back to normal. Netflix overpromises, hurts TV, and then becomes it. Things will go back to normal once the hype has worn off, and people realise that the promises made by all these tech companies was a lie. The jobs of the artists will go back to the artists when the employers realise that they were sold a fantasy, and the ones who don't revert back are likely the ones who would have exploited the labour of the creative workers anyway. So just sit back, relax, and wait for the next thing that makes a bunch of false promises.
Subscribe to the Perry Byford YouTube channel. In the coming months, I will start posting high-end video essays just like this, every day.
Every day.
You will get the best videos on YouTube that definitely won't decline in quality.
They will.
Don't ask how I'm going to stick to the daily upload, because that's for me to know and for you to not find out.
Exploited labor.
Subscribe today and you'll officially be a better person.
Subscribe.